I can't trust you, and neither can my friends.
I did play kind of a dirty game.
It was straight up war strategy. You gotta pump it up.
Okay, guys, as you can see, we're very excited to film this podcast episode today. Episode 9 just dropped. We all just watched it, and we have 2 of the top 10 here with us today to talk about it. First up, we have Patrick, aka maybe Puppet Master Patrick, Mr. Strategist, number 930. And then we have Gage, the phoenix that rose from the ashes, number 974, who played a huge part in episode 9 and left us on a huge cliffhanger for the finale. Kind of mad at you for that. I know it's not your fault, but...
it is. It is. You can blame me. I take all the blame.
Yeah, okay. Blame goes straight to Gage, guys. We are so excited to talk with you guys about the episode, but first, we kind of want to develop you two and like your storyline between both of you. So let's just talk about your alliance. As we know from the show, you guys were closely aligned. How did you guys kind of become close? Do you want to involve the Avengers alliance? Like, just word it how you want. I want to know the connection.
I'll let Gage take this one.
Yeah. Are you serious? Really? All right, Patrick. Well, you know what? I'll start it off. I did not really know Patrick through when the Avengers Alliance started through Vegas. I heard rumblings about this person that was, instigating a lot of strategy and talking among. You were very well known, Patrick. Everyone was talking about you, but I didn't put a name to a face or the role that you were playing until we were in the airport on our way to Panama.
Oh God.
And I saw this guy, and we were in line to get our tickets, and I think we just made eye contact, and you gave me the goofy smile, and I reciprocated, and it was like
spoken, by the way, during this meeting at all. Literally just
we were
can we see examples of the face?
Intimidating.
Right? Yeah, and then it just got.
That's how we literally met, just being goofballs.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's because I was also gonna throw in like when I first met Patrick too. Also same around like near Panama in the hotel. Literally haven't spoken a single word to each other entire game.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know if I started or you started it. Probably you.
You started it.
Oh really?
You went. I was like, who is this chick? She's cool. And she goes,
yes.
For fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a funny thing with the groups. And if you know Hazem, part of the Habibi Alliance, he would do this funny thing, like it was like a chant, and be like, like a funny thing that he would do, and we all liked it and thought it was cool and funny. And so Ava, one day I see her, and we were kind of like smiling about something somebody else said, and she just goes, and so every time I saw her, that's what would happen. But back to Dear Blue Eyes here, player 974, in our illustrious meeting of stargazing. So we do the eye thing for probably 2-3 minutes. So we're like, yeah, let's freak out everyone around us and see how long we can hold it in this airport.
Oh my gosh.
Car walks up. And so we just, dude, what are y'all doing? So just kept doing it. And then we get on the plane. And I don't know if were you there for the strategy session that I held at the front of the plane where I busted out the notebook and was like, here's the plan. And like the Avengers gathered around and Queen jumped in and Jordan, like a bunch of people gathered in. We hadn't invited the Avengers at that point because we were getting to know you on the plane in the airport.
Right. You didn't trust me yet fully.
I heard of you, but I didn't trust you because I didn't know you. But then 2 people vetted you, and then we spent more time together that first night in Panama, and I was like, oh, he's got to be in. There's no way. Like, he's got to join the Avengers. This just has to happen. So I asked him to join, and the rest is history.
Amazing.
I think, I mean, you knew it from when we saw each other in the airport. You knew we had to be connected somehow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I felt it. Yeah, I felt it.
So, Gage, who were you, kind of close to before the island and, joining that group?
Yeah. So, I had a really fun group. Starting from Vegas, when we flew out, I met 10 people when we got to the airport. When we flew from John Wayne, we got to Vegas. We had about 10 people, and we called ourselves Neon Dogs. because we would always meet underneath the Neon Dogs hot dog concession stand. And
Wow.
we were a very tight group. And we all made it. We all made it through Vegas to the actual show, which was really cool. Not a lot of us made it through to, I guess, after the towers. A lot of us were out. I think Vanessa was the only one that made it through and then was eliminated, unfortunately, in the cube. But I was close with David, who I chose for the helicopter.
Right.
I was close with Jeremy because I got to know him in the cube. Yeah, that was kind of my last. I kind of stuck around a bunch of different people. I didn't really have a specific, alliance. I didn't really think, like, until I met Patrick, I really didn't even think of the game in that way. Just because all of the games leading up to it were so chance-based. It was like you never knew what was going to happen. I didn't anticipate actual, like, alliances really coming into play. Yeah, I felt like I was pretty even keel with everyone.
Yeah. That's how I felt too. Like I was kind of the same way. Especially going into the island, I was kind of just friends with everyone because I lost all of my original Vegas alliance made it through to Toronto too, and then by the towers, most of them were gone. So I kind of just like floated around and just got to know everyone because I'm like, well, I don't have an alliance, so might as well just be friendly with everyone, and that's how I kind of went through it. And I feel like my first perception of you, Gage, must have been at the hotel before Panama too. And I remember me, you, Jeremy, and David had a dinner together. Yeah, and that was when I actually got to know you, and I was like, this dude's cool. I like him.
I felt really comfortable with you guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was when it got real. And to be honest,
do you remember that dinner on that balcony? I felt like we were in Spider-Man Across the Universe because we were like in midair, and you on the balcony of this giant hotel, and you look over. And it's like we're in the middle of this weird city world of Inception where you would look up there and there's all these towers and you look down, I don't even know where the ground is. I literally was like, this is incredible. And I need to now get out of the present moment and get back in the game. And I turned around back to my table and we had a war session. Like, for everybody, me, Brennan, Maddie, Jeff. The Avengers, not all of them, but some of them. Jeremy was going to pull you in. Some other people were like, we all had our plans. And I remember just sitting at that table and while everyone's laughing at these other tables and having fun, we're like, okay, we need to really be smart after this dinner who we talk to and what we say and how we move about this game. And so we were just, oh my gosh, we were getting our lists ready to go. Who was acting shady or didn't play with integrity so far? Who did we really like but we didn't know well? Like Ava, you were definitely up there. Gage was definitely up there already because he'd been kind of pinged on our radar with Jeremy a lot. And so I'll never forget that dinner. It was straight up like war strategy. If we have to vote 4 of us, who should we vote off? Like real hard conversations. It was, I mean, probably one of the best moments of my life if I really think about it, because it's just like, how does
the ambiance? It's amazing.
Yeah, it was so thrilling. Yeah, and plus also just the seriousness of the conversation. Like, this is it. We're in the end game now, and the Avengers got to make it to the end.
You weren't looking for vacation. You were still thinking. Like your brain did not turn off. Probably the entire time we were on the island. No,
his brain never turns off.
The dance party was fun. I enjoyed Werewolf, playing Werewolf. Corn's a master thespian and host of Werewolf. But I was watching everybody's reactions, just like Twana, because Twana wasn't going to play because she wanted to see who was good at lying. And Jordan, we pulled him in. We pulled Jordan, Gage, and JC in. Like, I personally pulled them in. And Jordan was really good at Werewolf. And at a certain point, after 2 games, he opened his eyes. I opened my eyes. I saw he was the Werewolf. He goes, and I go, stop playing. You're too good. You're going to show your hand. People think you're a lamb. Stop it. Like, don't show them your wolf yet. And so he stopped playing. And it's like, it's little stuff like that, like Twana not wanting to play because she doesn't want to. Like, I was like, I'm going to get a massage. And she's like, I stay ready. And that's the kind of shit I respect, to be honest with you. But, like, I was like, my back hurts, bro. I need to get a massage. I got herniated discs. Like, I'm old. But, like, I had a lot of fun in Panama. But, no, most of the time we were all waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, I was just trying to convince my friends not to be for an island, to the point where I convinced 3 people not to go. And Jimmy just walks up to me and goes, I already know your decision. Get back to the boat. And he shoves me in the shoulder back to the boat. Like
Yeah.
we were not in vacation mode. We were in like recovery mode because Choppers was really bad for me and Jeff and Jeremy, and so we were trying to like do damage control.
That was rough.
Yeah, Gage, I kind of want your opinion on that. Like, when you were on the island, were you chilling? Were you like anxious that something was gonna happen, or what?
I was anxious too. I was trying to be present in the moment and really appreciate like the trip in and of itself and the experience. And obviously, I would say it was like 80% enjoyable.
Mhm.
Just being with everyone and getting the massages with Patrick and being at the beach and playing volleyball and being in the water. Oh my gosh, the water is so freaking, it was so nice. I live in the Pacific Ocean, so it's cold most of the time. So just that alone was so cool. But yeah, we did have kind of an underlying suspicion that the whole game, I thought that the whole game might flip like halfway through. We might have to be like we're gonna play our own game and we were not safe. Like I didn't believe Jimmy at all. Like through the whole game, like anything he said, I took with a grain of salt and was kind of ready for something unexpected to happen. I mean, with the whole voting situation too, like we were pulled into the game a little bit. So I enjoyed it for the most part, though. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm glad. I have one memory to throw out because I want to confirm that it was you, Gage, and then I'm gonna throw it over to Ivy. But when we were on the ferry on the way to the island, was it you that kept grabbing the fruit snacks and like eating so many packets of fruit snacks?
Yeah, that was me.
I knew it, dude. I knew it.
I somehow just sat next to the whole box, and no one had mentioned that there were a whole bunch of snacks there, and I'm like, "Are these for us?" And I forget who told me or like confirmed, and like, yeah, they're for you guys. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So yeah, I start eating the fruit snacks, and then everyone sees me eating the fruit snacks. Then everyone just keeps asking me like, hey, like, can I have that? I'm like, it's not mine, but I just start throwing them out. That was fun.
Yeah, that was
so awesome.
That was like so funny. Yeah.
They just think of expression, facial express, like hands down, like hands down. All you in with those blue eyes and some comical Jim Carrey type face. He was such a comic relief in the Avengers. He was such a comic relief on the island. Like nobody's like, oh, screw Gage. Like everybody loved Gage. You know, it was like he was quiet, but like his humor was very like sly and
dry.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it a lot, obviously.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll try.
So the island solidified that you're part of the Avengers. Like, how soon did that happen? Just right off the bat, invitation, or
that meeting, Patrick? Right when we all kind of got together. I forget when that.
Off.
Yeah, when was that?
People, first day. People were at dinner, and I pulled people aside, off to in the trees, off dinner. And when like, I would have to catch moments when people weren't really watching, and do my best because it's hard with a lot of people there. But I would catch them. Like we were just, oh, look at the stars. Okay, so we've talked to Jordan and JC. Okay, bye. You go to the pineapples and talk to Rebecca. I'll go over there and talk to Eve and Ivy. Go. Like we were doing that all the time. Me, Maddie, Jeff, and Jordan were doing that a lot. Like a lot. Like just trying to figure out who we really vibed with. And like it's not conniving. It's genuine. I don't want any bullshit people. We wanted genuine people who wanted to play hard and play fair, and we're like fun.
For sure. No, I mean, yeah, I loved all you guys. Maddie was awesome. Jordan was awesome. I just remember all of us sitting on that log. JC included. That meeting. That
was the last day.
That was the last day. Okay.
Interviews, and I said, I've watched a lot of Survivor, guys. I know we're going to.
Yeah.
2 at a time. We're going to walk way down the beach so it's not obvious.
Oh my gosh.
No, not obvious at all.
We're going to have a meeting on this log.
As we can see the Habibi Brother Alliance right there as we're talking.
Let's check out the BBs.
Not subtle at all. It was so great, but that was the moment where I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, we were far for sure, but I mean, they couldn't hear us.
They did walk by. I remember that. I remember looking up. I was like, "Oh."
That was so much like Survivor. That was cool because I've always been. Obviously, you're the Survivor's #1 fan, and I just felt like that was the moment.
Yeah, it's like, of course you're gonna feel like you're on Survivor when you're with Patrick. You know what else can you expect, especially on the island?
Mr. Survivor.
Yeah,
Sitting-
no,
sitting
literally.
on a log in Panama, and I'm like, everybody walk away in twos, walk away in twos.
Yeah, that's right, dude. That's so funny. I remember
Yeah,
that.
because Annie was sitting there, and she like I didn't know how she felt at the time because we had a bunch of stuff happen with the choppers, and she was pissed at Jeremy and me and Jeff a little, and so we were like didn't know, and so we were like we weren't sure how to handle it with some people, and so I was just so nervous of like all of us just walking back together with the camera guy. So I was
Right.
like, just everybody going twos every 5 minutes, and so it's me and Jordan at the end, and Jordan and me, and Jordan is a cold-blooded assassin. You just don't know it. Jordan is incredible as a player. Him and I are actually applying to Amazing Race, and he is just. There's a reason we pulled him in. He is just one of the best players I've honestly met in the whole game. It's a shame we didn't meet earlier, but I'm glad we met, and we're the last two on the log doing this Avengers Alliance conversation, and I say, you and me, or me and Jeff to the end, man. And he goes, well, we'll see. And he says some line about us
Oh.
he says some line about us going head to head. And what you don't
Mm.
know, like the behind the scenes lore of Beast Games, is that in the morning we would do some runs on the beach, like early in the morning. And me and Jordan went head to head a couple. And I beat him by like a hair.
Mm.
And I was like, man, how funny would it be if it was like you and me in a foot race one day? I'd beat the pants off
Oh my
you.
gosh.
He was like, like that'll ever happen, please. The next challenge we do, him and I are in a foot race for the game point, essentially, of the second round of the physical episode 7 challenge. You just can't make it up. Like, Beast Games is just the
Yeah.
adventure of a lifetime, and I couldn't have done it without my Avengers Phase 1 and 2, but I definitely couldn't have done it without guys like Gage and Jordan and JC. Like, our Phase 3 Avengers, like, JC was hilarious. We laughed so much. Me, Gage, Jordan, JC, and Jeff were just rolling on that island. Like, that was the best part for me, just joshing around with y'all.
Okay, so now y'all have this strong alliance built from the island, and then we return and go do physical, like Patrick brought up. Do you feel like being in physical together bonded you guys even more?
Absolutely.
If you liked
Yeah.
it or not, like, it was a bond.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I forget if because Mikey was the team captain. I think, did I pick you? Who did I pick first? I mean, because Mikey was asking me, like, as we were picking teams, and I definitely threw you out and Jeff, and then I think it was you, right?
No, Jeff,
Oh, was it
I
Jeff?
think Eric, Jeff,
Eric too.
you,
Then
Jeff, me, Eric, maybe, or Eric, me, one of the two.
okay.
Because he was going for
Okay.
speed.
I just knew that we had to be on the same team. Either we succeed together or die trying.
Right.
I was so scared of not being on Jeff's team. I was like,
yeah.
I love Jordan. I've got my Avengers split up. I've got Jordan on one side.
Yeah.
I don't know where Gage is going to go. And I got Jeff on one side. And I went, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is horrible. This is the worst
That's
scenario.
so scary.
Yeah, that was rough. That split was really rough. But it bonded us so much just because of the way in which everything went down. Like I thought it was over. Like
Mhm.
I was like, before it even started, I was like, man, we are so we have that whole team was so stacked
Yeah.
just
Oh.
physically, and we were just like, well, something has to happen that is going to be out of our control for us to win. They're going to like something, and then it ended up happening.
Wait, I have kind of a fun
Man.
question. And be honest. So, if me and Ivy were in physical,
Oh.
do you think one of us would have been like automatically eliminated? Like, do you think we would have been picked, knowing how
Yeah, what
small
do
we
you think
are?
would have happened?
Well, there was only one person eliminated.
True.
I think it would have been
Dana.
the smallest woman would have been eliminated. That's what I believe.
So,
That's kind of how it happened.
Loki, I feel like Envy would be out.
I think
Yeah. I feel like I would have been cooked.
Yeah.
I could like see it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were like, there's no shot.
I'm not
Well,
pulling a
it's
monster truck. There's no way.
Yeah.
like when you're pulling a monster truck, it's like you want strength, and I think just like people didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it's like you want to pick the big strong guys. Like, you know, there's
Right.
like people physically stronger, and you know the big guys are probably the strongest, arguably. And so I think it was just like I think it was really tough for the captains. I don't envy their choices.
No.
Wait, did he announce the monster truck challenge before or after the push-up challenge?
I mean, I mean, you could see the monster trucks, right?
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna
I think,
ask.
I believe.
Oh.
I did not at all. So when we got there, Gage, do
Maybe
you
they
remember,
didn't.
remember what we were doing?
Oh, yeah.
So
That
a
was
little bit,
great.
little bit of BTS lore for the physical challenge. Of course, the Avengers are trying to predict, mostly me, what the next challenge is, and we think it's going to be because there's a billboard in the city that said, "Your red light is our green light." So we see a
Mm.
checker thing behind us and a bit of
There's a picture of a
runway.
monster truck, too, in the billboard, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I didn't see the monster truck. She was way in the distance in the dark. And so
Right.
I'm like, okay, so we have to go backwards. And when it hits red light, we have to stop. So we
Mm.
were like, not even joking.
Oh, yeah, we were practicing
Yeah,
the technique.
Yes. So we're like this.
We're like, okay, how do we stop? How do we like get our bodies in position to be able to like control? Like, should we lean forward? How should we do this? It was so funny.
That's
We're
hilarious.
doing it for 15 minutes, maybe 25. At certain point, one of the exec producers or Mac or somebody was like, what the heck are y'all doing? And I was like, oh, well, we think we know what the challenge is. We're just practicing. And it was like, you guys are idiots. Like somebody's like, they would mess with us like in a friendly, like
Yeah.
bro way. So they just called me. They were like, bro, you're cooked. Like, bro, stop. This ain't it. This ain't it, man. And so it was just funny because like it was me, Gage, Jeff, and somebody else. And we're doing this like 10, 15 feet. Like we just keep repeating this pattern. So it was quite comical. And the rest of the team was like, what are they doing? What the flip?
Hey,
What the
you-
flip?
What the flip? Hey, you gotta prepare in any way.
I mean, we were preparing for the physical challenge like an hour and a half in our like because we were contained to one bunk. We were all just like I remember I was like doing squats and like I was warming up
Oh
doing
my
a whole bunch of exercises for an hour and a half almost like in the bunk prior to getting to the place or to that lot, and it was just like ready. I mean, I was trying to be ready for it for anything. So it was so by the time I got there, I was like already like super tired.
Yeah, you like already wore yourself out before even going into it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I was just laying in the bunk in the back and I was talking to some of the girls because there had been some drama and I was trying to do damage control in case I got out to protect the fellow Avengers. And I said, if I get out, you need to watch out for these two people. Here's what happened. I don't care about me. I'm trying to protect my friends. And I don't want to get into it, but it's not that big of tea or like big of a deal. It was more just like, there was just somebody did something that we didn't like. And long story short, it didn't matter anyway, because by the time physical mental chance had happened, those people were out. And I looked at my buddy and went,
Yeah.
Yeah,
just how the game goes sometimes. You prepare for things that don't happen.
yeah. I mean,
Right.
imagine
Yeah.
he's talking about me and you.
I would never.
No.
He is.
Be friends with the Avengers.
You guys were.
Yeah, no, we
guys
made
were
friends with
drama
each
for
other.
sure.
Yeah, we were enemy number one for sure, me and Ivy.
Yeah. Definitely
well,
the
you know
biggest
what?
targets.
You know what? Here's a little story I heard, and I think it's quite interesting, and you should tell it, Ivy. I heard
What?
from a little birdie named Ivy
Oh,
that
okay.
she was actually didn't even realize that the Avengers were aligned with her crew, the like Akira gang, essentially, is what I call them.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
And
gonna
she
bring.
was
Yeah.
trying
Okay.
to figure out how to take me out, but she couldn't because the Avengers were so strong and dominant that if she went after me, none of her friends would support it because all her friends loved us, and none of the Avengers would love it. So she'd have this huge target on her back. And so she's sitting there talking to me under the stars at like in the middle of the night with like a bunch of the Akira and Avenger gang, and we're all talking, and I'm talking strategy, how I trust them and love them. And then the whole time she's sitting there going, dang, I am cooked. He likes Emma more than me. He likes Ava. I'm going to be his like third or fourth if it comes to votes in some future game. How do I get this guy out? Like, how do we beat the Avengers? Man, like, because I like them, but I'm not going to be their number 2 pick. It's too late in the game. I'll be their number 4 or 5. And that would have been true if we had gone to Trolley. You would have gone before Ava for me. So
I knew
it's
it.
amazing. It's always the quiet ones, right? Like, who would have thought little old Ivy was coming? And I just think that would have been cool if that would have matured into something. But I'm really glad instead that like you realized we actually really liked you and we were just friends and everything.
Yeah.
When you told me that, I was one of the best things I've learned post Beast Games.
Oh
Honestly.
my gosh. No, because I remember we were actively talking about like who we're gonna target. It's like, okay, well, this person has to go. And I'm sitting there just like fuming. I'm like, this guy's gotta go. It's like I was like, nah, Habibi. I was like, he's gotta go. But yeah, no. I was like, I just knew. I was like, I'm not their first pick because I got to the hotel so late. So I missed out on a lot of the bonding, I
Oh,
feel like.
yeah.
Or at least in my head, I was like really far behind. And the only things I heard about the Avengers, so I had heard about Patrick, Jeff, and Maddie, and everybody loved them. And so, and which y'all are all amazing and likable, lovable people. And then they were like, yeah, they're a strong alliance. They're all really smart, all really strategic. And so in my head, I'm like, well, that's not my alliance. So they gotta go. Like, these guys gotta get out of here.
Right.
But everybody loved him, and I was like, am I losing my mind? But I didn't even realize we were low-key working together, so.
The
But now I
funniest
know.
part of it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, didn't even know
Yeah.
it.
And did you guys like just recently discuss that, like months after
Yeah,
the
like,
game's
last
over?
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely did.
When she told me, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, Ivy, I had no idea. Oh my god.
I'm like plotting your demise, and you
Yeah. I'm like, I go back with Jeff and the boys at the bunk at night. And I'm like, I really like the Akira gang. Ava, Ivy, Emma, solid, really solid.
Kind of transitioning from there, you know, y'all have a strong bond already built, and going into the $1 million box challenge in episode 8. Big question: did you guys think it was going to be split evenly before going in?
I totally, without question, thought that we were all gonna play with each other in mind. And I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer. It's like we all could have 100 grand. It's amazing, you know? And I thought that I got to know everyone, and I thought we all built rapport, and we just met our like each other's families. And Patrick has a great story about all of those dynamics. But for me, it was very simplistic thinking. I was like, yeah, we can, 100 grand each. It's great. And I thought it was totally going to happen. I remember Klissner kept coming in, and he was like, really it almost like he was like trying to bring some common sense to me. He's like, so you sure that, I mean, this is a game, like, what are you thinking? Like you're, you have an opportunity to take a lot of money. Do you really think that you're going to split it? And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. Totally. And yeah.
Patrick, did you think
Shocking.
the same?
No. I felt, and a couple things I want to clarify about the Avengers real quick. One, we were not all boys. We had lots of girls. They all just got out really early, and it sucked. And that's why we added new Avengers, girls and guys, just to be clear. Two, I was pretty friendly with everybody else. Oftentimes, I would leave the Avengers, and they'd go, sleuth. And that's how I met y'all. Like, literally all of y'all I met by leaving my group. Like, we were friends with a lot of people. We just were, like, if it came down to it, we know that we had our core and we were ready for battle in the arena if it came to it. So with that said, we had our core alliance going into the top 10. We had a dominant alliance in the game, but we were friends with some people. I really looked up to Twana. I got close with Emma. Yes, he was hilarious. She taught me how to bachata in Panama, and like she was kind of cool, and like we were vibing, and I just thought like, wow, these are really solid people. And even though Mikey and Queen were people that if I had to, I would like take out for different reasons of threat. I loved Queen. She was such a strategist. It's a shame I didn't know her earlier in the game. We've talked so many times on the phone since then. Yeah, and like Jeff feels the same, and so does it. Like we all talk after the game. Like nowadays, we talk frequently, and sometimes too frequently. And so what's great is I think going into this challenge, before the challenge happens, this box is there all day. We've had all day to sit at the little lunchroom, the 10 of us in this big giant city, and go, do we think it's $1 million? Do we think we're going to split it? Do you think it's going to be a captain? Who should be captain? Like, me and Twana and Jeff had done all the out loud, and Queen too, had done all the out loud strategizing for the group for like 4 hours. So we knew it was going to be money. We were very confident it was going to be money.
For sure.
And that it was going to be some kind of captain bribe split vote situation. We saw the towers. We knew the red phone. So we had a good idea of what was to come. And maybe half of us would be wiped out and go down to 5. And it would involve voting or captains or money. Exact mechanics threw me for a loop once it was announced. When it came to the $1 million bribe, I was going to take 0. I study Beast. I study MrBeast. I'm a big fan. This is the adventure of a lifetime for me. I got conned and duped and fooled by Jimbo and the cubes, and I'm not letting that happen again. So this time, I'm going to take no money. So I took no money. And boy, was I wrong. But I also, because I did say, this will give you a great advantage or disadvantage in the next game.
Right.
So I did call it. But my bold play played against me.
Right.
I still think I would have got in, though, if the big Magenta House fight wouldn't have happened. I honestly believe I would have 100%.
I think so too.
Like, that's just my opinion.
No, I think
You
so
think you
too.
would have what? I'm sorry.
I think if the Magenta House fight and JC calling out the Avengers never happened,
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm 100% in. I would have took 0. JC wouldn't have took nearly as much because he wouldn't think he was being betrayed, probably. I would hope. And then everybody else would get a lot more money. And then there's me with $0. And there's no call out of alliance. And if you remember, the night before we just had game night. We played Catan in my bunk. I hosted a game night. And we had a great time. So, like, everybody was happy with it. Like, nobody was mad or anything. Like, there was no beef or drama at all. It was very kumbaya. So I think the 3 of us would have went through. Like, all 3 of us, no matter what, would have went through if that fight never happened. Like, that fight changed everything, in my opinion.
Were you expecting him to like call you out like that when you going in?
It was absolutely shocking. I mean, you can see our faces. We're all like, Gage's arm is like by my knee. I'm in a blanket. Jeff is just like, really, bro? Like, we're all just stunned. It was completely shocking. We put it together later, like who said what and why he thought that, and he had like legitimate reasons, but at the time it was incredibly confusing. But I just realized I'm jumping ahead. My bad. So back to the bribe. I was always going to take 0 no matter what. And I was shocked when I walked out and saw that much missing. And I thought, damn, Mike, wait, maybe Emma pulled a crazy one and she just panicked and took it all. I was like, no, Emma wouldn't do that. Right. JC might take a little more, but not a ton. But he's got kids. So maybe he took like, I don't know, 50 or 100. I could see that. I'd be fine with that. He's my buddy and he's got kids. Me and Emma are young. And then I know Emma's going to be like, what do you mean? We have our whole lives ahead of us. And I was like, well, that's a good point too. Like maybe. So I try to think of everybody's perspective. That was my main thing, is like, I want to put myself in everybody else's shoes. If anybody could take money, it's Twana. That's the only one in my opinion who could have took money. I would have been like, good for you. You deserve it.
For sure. I honestly, if she would have taken it, I would have respected it because she already turned it down. And I remember after the fact, or even maybe before, she wanted to actually take it all and then distribute it evenly amongst us, right? But then they put a kibosh on that.
I wish she would have done that. Wow. That would have been.
Would
have took 0 still.
She could have. And honestly, she could have in the game because the money came into play, and she could have just given us all 100.
Right.
They didn't want us to know that, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. Wait, so was Twana both of y'all's captains for the $1 million bribe earlier?
No, Harrison was mine.
Okay.
Well, T and me were like, in my opinion, T and me were tight. And in people's opinion, looking inwardly at us, including what y'all have told me, it looked like she was not aligned. Like, she wasn't in an alliance. She wasn't with the Avengers. But she was hanging out with us quite a bit. And we were friendly and we were really tight. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for her. There's stuff in the game I question now that it's all over. And, like, I can't wait to talk to her about it. But, like, mad respect, man. I looked up to her like a big sister figure in the games, to be honest with you. It was, like, deeper than the game.
Same. Yeah, I remember. I think the first time I actually had an interaction with Twana was in the plane in Panama, and I was walking by from the restroom going back to my seat, and I had to go by everyone, and I just remember giving her a hug, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you give the best hugs!" And we had this like bonding moment, and we started talking, and she was just. Yeah, she was such a sweet person. Like, she had I mean, obviously her persona as a professional wrestler was like super tough, you know, but she was a sweetheart. She was so nice.
Yeah, she's a big softie once you get to know her.
Yeah,
That's so awesome.
Oh wait, one more question about the million. Were you expecting her to pick Mikey?
No.
Yeah. I was very taken back by that.
I was so mad. I was stifling my anger, just being like, I have to trust you. I trust you. You did it for a reason.
Yeah. I thought she was going for Queen for sure.
Yeah. That really surprised me. And then Queen ended up being last. I wonder if Twana felt kind of guilty about that. Gotta ask her.
As you see later in the episode, all comes to fruition, right? Twana said that Queen did something shady in the cubes, but she didn't want to talk crap, so she wouldn't say what. But that's why she was on me and the Avengers list, and not like a hit list, by the way. Just like we don't want to play with shady people kind of thing. That's all.
Mhm.
And
Right.
once you understand, like, you know, if you go listen to me and Jeff's podcast or the one I did with Corn and Courtney, I say it all. Like, it is, all of this happens because of this. Like, everything that happens in this episode, a lot of it is because this conversation between me, Twana, and Jeff. And long story short, we talked to top 3 or top 5. Twana didn't like the conversation. She ran out of the room. JC walked in at the same time she was running out. Now JC, up WTF, mate, super suspicious.
Yes.
And me and Jeff are all
Yes.
because we're like, we were having the same reaction as you. Tijuana just ran out, and we don't know why either. Anyway, you shouldn't want to be seen talking strategy. Anyway, we're talking top 5. Come on in. Never, ever. I was never thought twice about it. And then we find out later, 20 minutes before the challenge, Tijuana ran up to JC and said, "Don't trust the guys. They're coming for you." Which is why I think she picked Mike, because we knew he was a threat that we wanted to. I said he was a threat we wanted to take out after physical, and because after Dino got out, he had some words to say about Dino, and it was confusing because they were really close. So that rubbed me the wrong way because I didn't know if I trusted you because he was your best friend, but maybe he wasn't, and that's fine. Regardless, you were still kind of a loner and didn't, like, I tried to talk strategy with him and he wouldn't. So it's like, I can't trust you, and neither can my friends. So, and you're really strong, so you got to go just based off trust alone. And so I think that's why I think she picked him, because she knew Mike and JC would go against the guys. That's what I'm thinking.
Created a buffer for her, and honestly align yourself with threat. So I mean, it was a smart play.
She's a genius.
For her.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, or Yessie has said this to y'all. It's going to be in our podcast that comes out tomorrow with her. But she said that before the $1 Million Box Challenge, Michael went up to her and was like, "Hey, you're young. You'll be fine." Like, hinting that if there's an opportunity to take money, he's going to take it. So, like, if I was Yessie in that position and then I saw Twana pick Michael, I would be like,
Oh my
dude,
gosh.
Yeah.
no way that just happened. I would have been so mad.
I know. I don't think he didn't get as much flack for picking more than his fair
Yeah.
share, you know. But I mean, 650 versus. But I feel like, I mean, Patrick, what do you think? Do you think that JC would have been inclined to take as much if more than 200 grand wasn't already taken?
No.
Yeah.
I think him being told, so there's 3 things that happen. 1, JC is told by the moral leader of the group, whether anybody likes it or not. That's my freaking opinion. Tawana was Mama Bitch. She was the voice of reason. If T says
Sure.
something, I'm gonna believe it. I said it in the Magenta house in the fight when I'm like, well, if I said take out JC, I must have said it, but I think it got taken way out of context. But anyway, I think 3 things happened with JC that led to this decision. 1, his alliance is coming for him. That's shocking because we are actual best friends. Like that, if I got told Jeff was coming for me, or Gage or JC was coming for me, I would be really hurt, and then I'd be furious, and I would come after them with a freaking vengeance, bro. Because we were tight. We would talk about family. Like, we were actual really, really good friends. And so I would be really hurt if I was him. Then you go into the family visit. Number 2, JC doesn't get to see his boys, doesn't get to see his partner of 22 years. That's got to sting. Number 3, you go into a challenge. You're freaked out. You're paranoid. You're missing your family. And the person you trust the most is ahead of you, and a guy who says he plays fair. And both of them have now made you the first person to actually get screwed in this challenge and this episode. That's 3 strikes, you're out for me. So if I'm JC, I'd be spinning out.
Mhm.
I'd be panicking and starting to think for my dad and my family. And imagine if I had a partner of 22 years. I'm a hopeless romantic. And my kids? Oh my gosh.
More
I would-
hopeless than romantic, but yeah.
I would be furious. And so I support JC taking more money. I don't support the amount. I'll never agree with the amount, but I 100% as a friend can go, let me put myself in your shoes instead of judge you and give you grace and forgiveness and go, dang, if those 3 things happen to me at the end of the game, oh my God, I'd be so pissed off at my alliance, and I'd just be like thinking of my family. So I understand if those were the motives, I understand why he took more money. I'll never agree with the amount, That's okay.
Okay.
It is what it is.
You know what? I'm really upset that they, as it was happening in the VIP suite, as it was happening, as he was communicating to us his reasoning, it was surreal. It was like we were in the middle of like a TV show scene, like a drama. It
Awesome.
was he was great. Like
Oh
he
yeah.
was
Yeah.
really good. And there was there was a moment after that whole spiel where he's like literally just after it was silent, like you could hear a pin drop, and he's like, Gage, I know you were kind of like, I see you're not in agreement with me, and you were kind of like, you know, you got manipulated into all of the
Avengers.
Avengers stuff.
You were
Yeah,
the tag along.
right. And I'm just like, I pause for a second, and I'm just like, you are a master deflector.
Oh my
And it was just
God.
like, it was like I was hoping they would put, and then he told me, like, he used a story that I told him against me about like saving yourself and all of this stuff, and
Your life
like
raft. And this
the
was my
life
life
raft,
raft. I had to take
pulling
it.
pulling the plug and all this stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you pulled the plug and left all of us on the boat, and you saved yourself instead of we could have all been safe on the boat. And yeah, I wish they would have put that in with like some dramatic music, and like that would have been cool, because that was the vibe. It was so tense.
Yeah, they toned that
Oh my God.
way down. That a conversation in the Magenta house where JC calls out the Avengers Alliance was at least an hour and a half. And I responded for at least 20 minutes. I did not sit there silently. I did for the first 30 minutes. When he called me out, I was trying to be calm and wise mind and work through my panic. I was having a panic attack. I was shaking. I mean, I'm being called out. Like, yeah, who wouldn't? It's so
Yeah.
it's your best friend. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
What is happening right now? I was the least mad at you, JC, when everybody was screaming at you. Why are you coming after me? And so put it together, you realize. But in the moment, I'm freaking out. And so I shut up. I don't say anything. I'm gonna be like, all right, years of therapy. Emotion mind, wise mind. 2, don't run out crying like you want to. Don't yell at him. That's bad also. Because, both of those thoughts were fighting for my attention. And so I said, let's choose the middle path. And, a wise man once said nothing at all. Let's see how everybody reacts. Because while I want to have a one-on-one conversation with JC, that one-on-one conversation is going to be in front of everyone. And everyone just heard about this. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. By the way, it's not true. We weren't coming after him.
Mm.
What's true, though, is that there are people who might believe we were. And that I was a puppet master,
Right.
and I wasn't. So now I need to listen and hear what the rest of the group thinks of this, because I love these girls just like I love these guys, and I want to hear what they have to say. Emma
No.
was not freaking expendable. I was so pissed off at that line.
Mm,
Courtney
mhm.
was it, but only because Twana told me she did something shady in the cubes. Mike, yeah, you're a threat, and it's all me. I'm the one who's saying it. You are a threat. You gotta go. You're a loner. You're scaring me, and you're a physical beast. I'm out. Yessie, I love Yessie. We get along. But you're like number 6 or 7. I've known these people for so long. How it would be so dishonorable if I put you above them. And Courtney, you say you have no strategy. You were literally the light of the show. You're so like kind and sweet. But this is Beast Games. This isn't Kumbaya. So on my list, you're at the bottom. Even though I think you're an awesome person, I'm looking for strategists. No offense. And we're friends. Like I have no problem saying that. Like I'll say it to her. I think I did actually on another podcast. So I go through it and I say to Twana, I don't want to take you. You're not here to help me eliminate people. I gotta go against you against the end. You're the one to beat. It's you, me, and Jeff, top 3. Like I gotta beat y'all and win this title of Beast Games. And so like I respond and I say, you want to talk about my game? Top 10. Here's where you stand and here's why. I'm an open book. Let's go. You're not gonna shame me or I'm gonna say what's true and what's not and speak for myself. And then I looked at JC and I was like, dude, screw this game, man. You're really upset. I see it. I see it in your eyes. You are upset. I'm sorry that you feel this way. I really am. Because I know it's real for you. I can see it. But it's not freaking real, bro. I wasn't coming after you. Gage doesn't even know what the heck we're talking about. He wasn't even in the room. Jeff is pretty pissed off right now. Fair enough. You're calling us out. He doesn't know what you're talking about. I just look at Twana and I go, Twana, why would I say take out JC? Can you tell me? You remember this, Gage? And I just looked at her. I was like, let's talk about it right now in front of everybody. I have no problem. I'm an open book. Let's go.
Yeah.
We talk about it. And it's like, I meant top 3 is in like, who do I think are the best competitors?
Yeah.
Not should we take out? And so that's my opinion.
Right.
That's my truth.
We never knew, and I mean, like I said, like the games were so chance based. Who knew if we were going to even have an opportunity to play a game where we were able to implement that strategy?
Right.
Never knew.
Yeah, it was more like I was just picking my fantasy draft. Like, who do I think the toughest players are? And that'd be kind of cool if it's like me. No offense, Gage, but I didn't think you were in that top 3. And guess what? You're one of my buddies. You're in my alliance. I thought
Hey,
Jeff
it's
and
okay.
T and
You're at the
me.
bottom of my list. It's fine.
Ooh.
I think Jeff, T, and me were like the toughest, like playing the hardest games. And so it's like I was just trying to be honest. And unfortunately, I think Twana really believed like, oh my gosh, Patrick isn't who he says he is. You're coming after your own alliance, and you're going to take out JC. No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't do alliances. I'm not doing backstabbing. I'm playing an integrity game.
Right.
I'm out here. And then she just took
Right.
off. So I get like you can see once you learn about everything, you can see how it goes, like how people
Sure.
got to their decisions. But I'm here to love the game and give grace. You know what I mean? Well, boy, did that screw me for the tower bribes, man.
Yeah. So
I
let's
think
let's
we
talk
got
about
in.
that. Gage, can you tell us we got to talk about your big brain move. Can you like walk us through that a little bit? Because watching that, me and Ava were freaking out.
Yeah, before
So
okay, wait, before you say anything, like when we watched it, I love how they edited it. I love how they saved the result for it to be like, oh my god, like no way he pulled that off, and then explained how you kind of did it after the voting happened. Like that, it was edited so well. But yeah, let's hear from you. I just had to say that.
Yeah. So I mean, I was always kind of trying to be in the moment with every single game, and I have one discrepancy with how they edited things, and bring clarity to the one scene where I was speaking with Michael, and he told me that he was going to vote for me if I gave him all the money that I had, and then it shows me talking with Yessie, and like the voiceover for Jimmy is like Gage completely lied to Yessie even though she just saw them talking.
Mhm.
I forget specifically what I said and what the order of that was, and I don't think they're trying to like make anything not the way in which they perceived it to happen. But I meant it to Yessie as though I didn't believe Michael like at all, like that he was actually going to vote for me if I gave him the money. So when I said that I don't think that's going to go the way in which I want it for me if I give them money. That's what I meant. So I didn't intentionally lie to Yessie in that moment. However,
Oh god.
when it got later in the game, and I knew the 5th round, I hadn't communicated with JC at all. I kind of
Really?
gave up that tie. Yeah, I don't think he even reached out to me because he knew I was upset. Like even before in the conversation, like the day of the conversation, I said it wasn't captured on camera or anything, but I'm just like, hey JC, like I respect your family, and I get it. Like I wish nothing but the best for you and your family. I don't have any ill will towards you. I just didn't obviously respect the move that he made, like as a player in that game where we could have split 100 grand. Like I feel like that game in and of itself was different outside of, and I get his motivation because that he thought that was his only chance to win any significant amount of money. But I mean, I feel like we could have all picked the benefits from that, and it wasn't a game that was cutting anyone out, or
Right.
backstabbing anyone for them or to prevent them from moving forward in the game. So with that being said, I didn't communicate with him at all. I was trying to communicate with Michael a little bit, but I just everyone was telling me like that he was just kind of goofing around and like yanking everyone's chain kind of just for the bit. I think he really he did a great job playing into that character, kind of like the villain
Right.
character. But I was close with, in that game, Courtney. Courtney and I kept voting for Courtney in the later rounds, and she kept voting for me. So when it got to the 5th round, I heard my perception, Queen and Courtney were going through, and we were all done. And I think they show that. I think they show me saying like, "Oh, I'm gone, so I'm gone." I don't know if I was speaking with Queen or what, but I'm like, okay, well, either I just let it happen or I try to do something about it. And I remember Chandler was with me, and as I was having that conversation and having that realization, and he's like, dude, he's like looking at me with his big googly eyes. What are you gonna do? And I'm like, man, I guess I'm gonna have to. And then I do the whole like the Jim Halpert like the. Guess I'm gonna have to make a move. They didn't put that in there.
Oh, I wish they did.
I wish they
so
would have put that
good.
in there, but I think it was a little too cheesy because they made it really like every single scene. They to me like being super serious. I made like a whole bunch of jokes, like Mac and I were joking around. Like I wish they would have actually shown like those elements. Obviously, it didn't fit with the like the theme of the episode and the drama. But I knew that the only way that I was going to go through was to convince other people to vote for me. And I think the only way that I knew that was going to happen is if I told everyone that I was going to vote for them.
Right.
And I think I got Queen to vote for me because I told her that I was going to give her money. And she's like, okay, yep, let's do it. And Courtney and I had been voting for each other the whole time. So I told Courtney that, hey, let's just keep this going. Like, I think you're going to go through. It's either Queen or you. So I'm just going to vote for you. She's like, okay, yeah, I'll vote for you. Then Patrick, the last minute, I think there was like 2 minutes left. And he's like, dude, like, I don't like the boy girl thing isn't working. Like, what are we going to do? I think we're gone. And I'm like, yeah, I think we are, man. You know what? Out of respect for each other. I mean, we're the last of the alliance. Like, why don't we just go out looking like we support each other and vote for each other? And he's like, I'm like, please vote for me, dude. I'll vote for you. And I'm like, he's like, okay. Click. And yeah.
974. Welcome to the final 6.
And then I throw away my vote because I potentially thought that Courtney might get like tie with me, and I didn't want to risk it. And that's honestly the only regret I had in the game up until this point was not voting for her, because I think I owed it to her, and I just felt bad, especially her reaction too. It was like, it was rough. It was really rough.
Yeah.
What about me?
And Patrick, yeah, Patrick, whatever. I mean, I feel kind of bad.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's fine.
The best part is when it's all over, I walk up to the final 6, and I'm first to walk up, and Gage is not okay. He's actually like the most emotional I've ever seen him, and he's like really hurt and upset with his actions and the way it hurt other people. And because he thinks he's really worried about me because of our alliance, and he thinks I'm gonna be just so upset. And I was like, I'm so proud of you. Don't you cry, Gage.
Slow
Look at me.
clap.
Look at me. I like grabbed him because he was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, shut up, boy. Listen to me. I'm so proud of you. I didn't know you had it in you, dude. That was incredible. You just like, bravo, man. I'm so proud of you, brother. Like, you deserve that, man. Like, I couldn't have been more proud of him. And I look at Jeff, and I was like, Jeff, huh? Look at Gage. Who knew he had it in him? That was crazy. Love it. Good luck in the end. And then I just grabbed T and Jeff, and I'm like, I grabbed them both, and I go, for me, it's you two. You've played the hardest game out of everybody. I always wanted to go against y'all in the end. I'm so freaking mad I'm not. Fight like hell. Fight like hell. Fight like hell. I look forward to seeing one of you as the winner of Beast Games. And then I said bye to everybody, and I peaced out. But I was so proud of Gage. I was like,
That meant a
No,
lot, dude.
Yeah.
That meant a lot, you say.
If Gage would have betrayed me the third round, I would have been incredibly upset. I think the timing's important.
Yeah.
Like, you betray me not because you have to, or not because you want to. You betray out of necessity. 5 and 6, 4, 5, and 6. I don't care what anybody says. It was any man's game. It was, well, besides 3 men, and me, JC, and Mike. It was cutthroat, bro. And I didn't realize how close I was to getting in because I would have got that last vote if I would have said yes to Mikey, but they don't show it. I was fighting Mikey. I didn't want his money.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I never wanted any money. And so I just wanted to, like, I didn't want, it just felt wrong. I was sticking to 0 the whole time. People offered me money. I was like, I don't want your freaking money. I want your respect. Like, no, I want to go in because you think I deserve to. The problem is I was playing Beast games like Survivor, and it's
Right.
not Survivor.
Right.
I was trying to play with honor and integrity, and people could say that I wasn't all they want. I don't care what you say. Screw you haters. I was playing. Go ask my alliance. I was very loyal. Like, it's just, I just wanted to be good enough. I wanted to feel good enough as a competitor that I played a game that was worth merit. And I do believe, after talking to everybody, that like they all believed I, on merit alone, like should have gotten in. We weren't playing a merit game though.
Right.
So I feel good going out with 0 because I didn't care about the money. I wanted the acknowledgement that I'd played a good game because I took the game really serious. It really meant something to me. And so I was fine. I was okay. I knew I was out in round 5, bro. Like I was fine. I was having a good time with it, but I was just really happy because 4 people I wanted to get, like 2 Avengers made it through. 1 my day 1 and 1 I pulled in. Twana, maybe blew up my game, you could say, in a way. Maybe somebody who's the hero we all needed. Whatever you want to say. Our leader has made it through. And the sweetheart Emma, who got screwed, she's made it through. And I love Yessie. And Courtney, Miss No Strategy. Hey, why not?
The way they portrayed like her character in the show where she's like, hey dude, like, yeah, that's chill,
I
like
know.
just like the chill girl, it's so funny. Like no strategy, nothing,
is.
just like, hey, I'm just here.
And it's so accurate. Like she really is like
Yeah.
good vibes, still
Yep.
like a light. Like I think I say it in the episode. She's like she's the light of us all, or pure, or something like that. Like so I was
said
very
that,
happy.
but yes.
I wanted Queen in there though. I'll be honest. I wanted Queen in there over Courtney. I was pissed off about that actually. Like because I'm strategy and Courtney's no strategy. Queen is a very like she almost made it through a couple times, and I don't think Gage you knew. I don't think I kind of called with Jeff today. I don't think people knew how close she was in this episode because you didn't get all the phone calls if you got voted in. I knew because I was with her on the bottom of the towers. Scheming hard every challenge, bro.
She was
was
working. She was working it for sure.
Yeah.
She was,
I was not working it, by the way, in case you were curious. My strategy was to vote in my friends and be loyal. And Jimmy would come up to me each round and tell me I'm being incredibly stupid and that like you were doing so well this whole game. You predicted challenges. Like, we love you. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're ruining it. And I said, Jimmy, I'm not pushing myself. I just got outed as the puppet master. I'm not pushing myself, Jimbo. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be loyal to the end. I'm going to take no money, and I'm going to push my friends through. I don't care what the result is.
Wow.
I stand on business. I stand on my game. And I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm super happy with being the mastermind who went home with nothing. What a great redemption arc for the next tale, you know?
Right, yeah. And
There
that's
you
what
go.
I was literally gonna ask you, like, was there any point where your name was thrown out there or you were trying to vouch for yourself? Because
Yeah, I got 4 votes. I got more votes than any of the other people if you add them up. Like, each round, I got a bunch of, like, I secured votes. I just wasn't pushing. I should have pushed for myself first or second, and I could have got through.
yeah.
I think. What do you I'm curious.
When I was watching Patrick, both me and I, we were like, dude, Patrick, just take some money. Like, just even if you're not
Yeah.
gonna vote for Michael, like, just
Yeah,
take
just
the
take
money.
something.
Like, come on,
Right.
we're getting so mad. We're getting so
Yeah.
mad.
A lot of my family and friends are like, they know me, so they get it, but they're also like, dude, Jimmy even told me the first round, second round, third, he's like, Tawana would have gave you like 50K, dude. She asked you
Right.
for money.
Yeah.
Right.
And I yell at her on the phone. I go, oh, I was like disgusted. I was like, money, I want your respect. And I wish they would have put that in because I meant every word of it. Like, that's all I cared about is like getting T's respect because of what happened with the fight. And I didn't know where she stood as a friend. And it really like screwed me up emotionally, honestly. Like, after the game, I'd like talk to my therapist and be like, yeah, like, was it real? Like, were we really like, did I like you know after the game it's really hard when you get out the end, you start thinking about everything. So I talked to my therapist and Jeff all the time about it. Jeff and me are really tight, and it's really interesting because I really truly believe I could have got in if I would have pushed in the first or second round. I know I would have got in if that fight wouldn't happen. and I still would have taken 0 if everybody took 100. So imagine everyone takes 100, or someone takes 200, even 300, and I take 0, and there's no fight. Everyone's gonna go, "Oh,
You
Patrick's
would
not
have
here."
been in you would
Would've
have
been
been in like Emma's position or T's position.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really happy with the final 6. I think that Gage made a masterful move. I am proud of the game I played, and I stand on business. No bribes. Avengers to the end. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, you
It
played a
meant a
great game.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I took for granted, I think, the your behind the scenes just strategy, talking, because I was like, I didn't think that it meant a whole lot, like in terms of us trying to figure out what the next game was, trying to see what would happen, or like speculating, your
Fingers of
theories of speculation. I didn't really think it meant that much, due to the fact that every game it was just so up in the air. But it definitely played a big role in the later games, just in terms of who we wanted to get through and who we were going to vote for. It meant a lot too. I actually didn't know that T voted for me on her last vote, so that was kind of cool for me. That felt cool.
Who doesn't want mom's approval, right?
Right? I know. It's like, oh my gosh, she did.
That's the shit that we all felt, honestly, I think. So
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the end of Patrick's game, but not the end of the episode. Let's talk about that. Gage,
Oh,
another
man.
huge moment for you.
gosh.
Oh, I was freaking out
Yeah.
watching. But let's
Yeah.
talk about that. Let's talk about, as soon as he opened the box and you saw the coin, like, what were your thoughts? Were you like, I have to, or like, were you debating?
It was pretty clear to me in my soul, in my gut. Like, I was drawn to that thing. Reading a lot of the comments, I'm just like, man, this guy is like, really? He took the risk. He got that far, and he's going to bet it on a 50-50 coin flip, and it may not even like help him personally, but it helps
Right.
everyone else. And then
Right.
in my mind, it was just I felt like I owed it to everyone to take that risk, due to the fact that I did play kind of a dirty game, so to speak, in the last game. So I felt like it was more of like a redemption move, first and foremost. And second, it was wild. I thought it would just be a really, something that I could say I did, and it was my turn. I felt like Patrick, when he met my parents, he was just like, Gage has been under the radar. He's like kind of, coming on in stealthily, and I think he's like the dark horse. And I honestly genuinely felt that, just because I was more reserved, and I felt like that was my time to like actually like establish myself as a player in the game. And then I just felt like I felt it. It was an indescribable pull, especially since they obviously show they cut back and forth in between me flipping the coin and the cube. I really believed that it was going to land on tails. Then Courtney I didn't even say anything to Courtney about me choosing tails, and she's like, I feel like tails is it. And I'm like, interesting.
Oh my god.
And then when T came in and she said that she might do it, and then Jeff walking by, he's like, I think she's just trying to egg you on. And that was hilarious to me. That was so fun.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, because she threw out a line
Yeah.
after that, and it was kind of like shady, and I was like, whoa.
Mhm.
yeah, I got lots of questions on that, bro. I got lots.
Yeah,
Of
in the moment, I mean, you can see like we're all kind of laughing. I took it all as joking, even though it's like a really serious moment. I'm like, this is insane. Like, it was, for a lot of the game, for me, it was so surreal, just like the scale and the consequences of doing a simple action could have a cascade effect throughout the rest of the game. I knew that, but my body was telling me like, you can't, you don't feel that, because it's gonna make you freeze up and not even be able to think. So a lot of the game, I was just kind of trying to relax, stay in the moment, stay present, even though it was very difficult. But I didn't really take it in a negative way from her. I thought she was just joking. And then I also thought Jeff was joking, but maybe they weren't joking. So,
No.
yeah,
No.
right.
Spent enough time with both of them. I've spent the most time with them actually out of all the top 10. And when I watched that, I called Jeff immediately, and then I called Yessie, and I went, "What? I don't want to know any spoilers for episode 10. I just want to know what just happened."
Right.
Because that was, I don't care what you say, that was real. They're playing nice. You could, it was eerie. You could feel it. Like I felt the goosebumps, man. I went, "Oh my God, T and Jeff really took it to heart what I said." They're the two gladiators are about to go at it, and I see Jeff, and he's trying to, like, you can see he's trying to. They're both egging you on, Jeff too, but it's different. Twana, I couldn't tell if she really was playing possum, but it was a little much as an audience perspective, to be honest with you. I kind of felt it was a little off-putting that anybody was egging anybody on, but I get it, and I would be doing this same thing, but like as your buddy. With T, I felt like she was like playing game, and this is where I have questions for Twana as Patrick, her friend or player or whatever. I'm like, were you egging him on? Were you playing possum and egging him on just to take it?
And I think she was. I think she was. I mean,
good on her. Good move.
Yeah. I mean, she is a wrestler, and her wrestler persona is the Beast, which I think is just awesome.
If that's her name, that is her wrestler name is the Beast.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The Beast, yeah, which is right. She was made for the show.
Literally.
That really, like, that whole persona really came out, and especially in that moment, it was one of those moments that you could tell where she was, putting on that kind of face as the Beast. And I didn't take it like in a pressure type of way, because I think I already had made up my mind that I was going to flip it, and I was kind of just trying to enjoy the moment.
You were not. Yeah. You were sitting there enjoying it. Let me tell you something. You look like a Boo from Aladdin when he sees the ruby. Okay, you're just like,
right. I know, like,
you can see the stars in your eyes.
Or the squirrel from Ice Age.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the squirrel from Ice Age. You're like,
yeah, yep.
Like, it was hilarious watching you. But I'm like, okay, Gage doesn't matter. He's checked the freak out. What is happening with Twana and Jeff right now? And then Jeff came back real quick, and then Twana snapped back like, "Nobody's weak. You're not getting on her head." Right. He goes, "Oh, I'm just saying, and if you did it, it'd probably land right. Everybody, like, he served it right back." And I was like,
"Oh yeah,
oh my God, this is real. This is happening. It's finally
that line from
Showdown."
That line from Jeff was that was great.
Well, Jeff we always wanted to go against T in the end. Jeff said it a lot, and so it's like, I am so thrilled that in a week we're gonna see the finale. We're going to see if it's 5 million or 10 million. We're going to see if you survive or not. And we're going to see Twana and Jeff and everybody else go at it. I can't wait.
I can't believe we have to wait a whole week.
I know.
I know.
Dude.
Hey, it's last week, so let's enjoy it, right? This is our last week as fellow Beast Game players together in this moment. What a blessing. What an honor to play with y'all. This might be my swan song, but it is certainly not my last song.
Whoa.
Ooh,
Patrick has bars.
You rehearsed that.
I actually did. I was just speaking from the heart.
You look at yourself in the mirror every morning and say that, huh?
Only for you, Gage.
Thank you.
Wait, Gage, I want to know, what was your reaction when you realized it could be $10 million when that second stack of cash came out? Like, what were you thinking? Like,
it was such a Jimmy move. Like, I knew that there was something that was going to be, there was going to be a twist involved. I know I didn't see that. I honestly didn't see that. And I thought that potentially, there might be 2 winners, but then I was like, there's 10 million. He wants to up it. So yeah, I was very grateful that the prize increased, but in terms of how we would get that was a little intimidating. And I'm you know what, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it there.
Oh,
good idea.
So many questions I have to ask you, Gage.
Yeah, I know. Well, I feel like I'll be able to answer them after
Yeah,
everything happens.
I totally respect that. You know, I don't want any spoilers, so I respect it. But you got me on the edge of my seat, brother. Can't wait.
For sure.
Yeah, I have one more question about the coin. So in
Yeah.
the edit, it almost looks like you're like lunging to like beat someone to taking the coin.
Yeah.
What's backstory behind that?
So I don't know if I felt like it was just more of a dramatic. I thought it was just
Okay.
cool to be like, you know.
Yeah.
Also, you know, you never know with T, because she was there.
Yeah.
She was kind of
Yeah.
hovering over it too. So I was like, maybe she's gonna pick it. And I mean, if she would have, I'd have been like, yeah, cool. That's whatever. But
Yeah.
selfishly, I definitely wanted to be the one to do it. And yeah,
It
I
just
thought it was
makes
just looked cool.
sense. It just makes sense for your
Yeah.
storyline, like from the boxes to now. Like it just makes sense for you to do it.
Yeah, it's your fate.
In your eyes, bro. God, the stars in your eyes, Gage. You're just like,
That's
oh my God, I can't wait. I just need to see this right now. So I'm so proud of you in the game you played, man. I think I was accurate as the Avengers
Sleuth.
mastermind speculator leader, whatever you want to call me. I think I nailed you correctly. You were the dark horse, and I think you really showed that the claws can come out when they need to. And I was so proud of you in the towers, and I'm really excited to see what happens next.
Guys, it's brutal.
Brutal.
It's brutal.
See, Pat. From what we've seen so far, you played this episode so well, and even if you did the coin just because you wanted to do it, or it was a strategic move of kind of redeeming yourself from what happened in the last challenge, you know, it was smart either way. And I don't know, maybe it'll pay off, maybe it won't, but I just think it was a really smart move by you. So awesome
Thank
game
you.
you're playing for sure.
I got
I
one question.
appreciate that.
When I wasn't there, did you and Jeff have conversations like during that flip or before that flip, on the way to that flip, of like, okay, like, holy crap, Pat's not here, it's us, we gotta like?
Were you a gaping hole in the
No, I just mean
whole
like, because there's like, it's 4 and
deal?
2, you know, like you don't have 3 and 3, like
Oh.
numbers
Oh.
wise. I was like, because I talked to Jeff about this, and it's like, because you have to at that point go, okay, like, well, now we know it's going to become relevant potentially, like, who do you trust after this challenge? Who's got your back? And so I was curious, like, did you have any moments where you're like, damn, I wish Pat was here, or more of like, can me and Jeff survive this to the end, if it is a 4v2? Because the girls were kind of ganging up on the guys in the towers.
You know what? I think that is going to be so. For me personally, it was always in my mind that like the top 10 was going to be purely a personal game from this point on. So I didn't really have any conversations per se with him, but I mean, obviously we were close, and if we could help each other in any way, I feel like that was going to happen without being said. So
Don't say anything.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
Save it.
Do you-
Save it.
I would have. Do you think I would have flipped the coin if I was there?
Who I think? Oh, I mean, I don't know. I honestly
shot.
don't know.
No shot.
I didn't think.
But I'm a
you
little
would.
impulsive. So I might have
Statistically,
been
it's a nightmare move. So
I might have been like, YOLO. Just
No,
ran up and grabbed it.
It really is a nightmare move because there's no incentive to do it, and if you lose, you're eliminated. So it's just like
There's
only
so much
reason-
incentive.
I was just gonna say, like, for Gage specifically, there is because of like how the last game played out,
Mhm.
but otherwise, in my opinion, no. Like,
right. No, it wasn't
Yeah.
advantageous at all to do that. I mean, in terms of like potentially, if it ended up being in my favor, we all had a shot at doubling the money. And then, I mean, you just don't know. I thought that potentially, because Jeff was saying, you know, potentially you could have an advantage. So
right.
that was in the back of my mind as well. I just thought I'd take the risk. Thought it was fun. No,
Yeah,
it was
why
so
not?
everything was so surreal. And why not? It was so surreal. I'm just like, is this even? A lot of it was just like, is this even happening right now? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and like, who else gets to say they flipped a coin for basically $10 million? You know,
Yeah, what?
like that's you,
It's literally
Gage.
crazy.
I I'm so proud of the game you played, man. I'm excited to see what you do next, and let's see if the biggest game prize in history will be 5 million or 10 million, and if Gage will live to see the tale.
Yeah. Yeah,
Brutal.
we'll shut our mouths here
Yeah.
and get ready for episode 10, the season finale. This has been really fun, guys. I'm so glad we got to all sit down and talk to each other. You both are amazing. Patrick, I'm so proud of the game you played. I'm so glad that they also did portray you as the strategist, because like you had to be acknowledged that way. It's something that's just in your blood, you know. Yeah. And then Gage, I'll congratulate you for making it to the top 6. I cannot wait to watch the season finale. It's gonna be exciting.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Ivy, do you want to throw out anything else?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any last favorite memories that weren't shown in the show that you guys want to talk about real quick?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
So many.
Patrick.
Oh, Patrick
that
has one
reaction.
for sure.
Let's hear it.
no.
Let's hear it.
Oh
You
no,
You
no.
You go.
No, I'm not. Also, okay, there is one more thing that did happen that actually I felt like I needed to, on top of the redemption for me deciding how to play that last game. In the original tower game, where we all had, 1, 2, 3, 4, I was on 2-star, we had to self-sacrifice. The last player to self-sacrifice that ended up having us win, Aaron, everyone gave back their little pucks, right? I still had mine in my pocket. And he asked prior if anyone was willing to flip for it, to see, like, 1 versus 1, to see if anyone would eliminate if they chose wrong. No one was taking him up on that. And then someone asked him, like, will you do it just for you? And he's like, yeah, I think I'd be willing to do that. And then within the last minute, I still had my coin. It's like, okay, does anyone have a coin or whatever? I give it to him. He flips it. Doesn't even say it out loud. And looks at it. His head goes down. And he goes out. So I mean, he was the hero of that game. And I think that was in the back of my mind too. Just like, man, these coin flips, like, I don't know. There's just something. It's been going my way.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
We'll see. Will it continue going your way or not?
We'll see. We'll see.
Patrick, are you gonna share a memory or what?
There's so many. Gage and me have one that's pretty great. It's the last standing of the Avengers in the top 10. There's a lightning storm. There's no rain. They're just, production and Beast is so safety prone that, like, if there's a chance a lightning bolt could come in a 2-mile radius, they're like, everyone get inside. Like, the Beast team in Amazon treated us so well. I probably gained weight in the city.
Right.
So we're in this bunk. We're supposed to be alone in our bunks because the lightning storm. We all go run off in JC's bunk. I was like, Avengers assemble, because we'd always say that and do the little hand thing. And so we all go.
You did that, Patrick. You're the only one that did that.
And so, well, the phase 1s and 2s would do it. Gage didn't like it too much. So we all go into JC's bunk to, like, hang out and buddy up. And we're there for, like, probably 4 hours. And we're just saying the silliest stuff and saying the worst jokes and just being ridiculous people, as we do sometimes. And it was one of the funnest times of my life. Gage and me are under, like, because there's nowhere to really sit. So we pull, like, his head's under a chair, like, sitting under the chair.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all sitting there, and, like, my back was cramping or something. And so Gage is an EMT, and Gage's like, oh, well, like, he says some EMT stuff. I don't know. He says
Common
something.
procedure.
And so, like, I start trying to, like, make this spasm go away. I don't know. But Gage's like, I got it. And so he just starts working on the knots. JC's, like, folding our clothes all meticulously and nice. Jeff's going on about numbers. And I'm talking about... And we're all just sitting there, and I go, this is, like, my happy place. I'm with my buddies. We're in, like, the top 10. Does it get any better than this? Like, I really thought, is 5 million really going to beat this feeling? Like, this is incredible. And so, like, it's so real. Like, the bonds we made are real. Like, even JC, like, it's just incredible, the friendships I've made. It's, like, you three especially, but, like, with the Avengers, it's incredible how real it's become. Like, somebody asked me to be the best man at their wedding in the Avengers. And it's just like, I'll be there. You know, so that's probably one of my favorite memories.
That's awesome. Yeah, true friendship right
So
there.
cool.
Gage helping you out with your little spasms.
Yeah. It's my pleasure.
All right. So I guess that kind of wraps up the conversation. There.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's wrap it up there.
Let's give it a that. Okay, last thing I want to do is roll out the red carpet for you. Obviously, everyone probably knows who you guys are by now after watching this podcast. But if not, I want you guys to share your social channels, any events that y'all want people to pay attention to, or anything coming up that you just want to share. Let's have Gage, you go first.
You can follow me on Instagram at Gage Gallagher. I am working on some music right now, so stay tuned for that. That's like a passion project. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And Patrick, I heard you went unprivate the other day.
I did. I made Instagram public. I know everybody was giving me flack about it, so I accepted like 1,000 follower requests the other day. It's a lot of clicking, and I'm like, let's just go back to private. This is much easier. No, I don't have to bother with people. I got a lot of weird DMs. Everybody's like, bro, it's not like girls sliding in your DMs. It's like kids and guys being like, I look up to you so much. Why did you do that? That was a stupid move. Like all these different, you know, just like the vast, like seeing the comments and stuff. It's pretty fun. But yeah, my social media is Patrick Carroll Jr., Player 930, and I'm ready to see the finale with my friends. Avengers Assemble.
Hey.
Hey, I just want to say one more thing. You guys are awesome. So thank you so much for having me on. This was so cool. It was you guys were some of my favorite people in the game. So you guys were so genuine and down to earth. It made the whole experience just that much more enjoyable. You know, just being able to be around such like solid people. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, dude, Gage, you're awesome. Thank you for hyping us up. We love that. Let's get some hearts, guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on. Oh, look at us.
Let's go.
Look at us.
Wait, how do you do this one?
Yes, he told us
Okay,
this.
Whoa.
Let's go.
Whoa. We should have pumped it up to that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below what you think is going to happen in the season finale of Beast Games. It's going to be crazy. Will Gage win? We don't know. Guess we'll find out next week.
Guys, I do have. Sorry, one. Oh
Bring it in.
I'm literally on the edge of my
Pat's
seat.
like,
I'm invested. Not financially. I
Well,
have
if you
$0, but emotionally.
what if he just never comes back?
Yeah, he just hangs up.
All right, that's it. I'm out.
Okay, bye, bye.
You know what? I guess it'll come another time.
What happened?
They let me keep the coin, so.
Oh, dude, that's unreal.
You gotta like frame that.
Right. Yeah.
I can't find it right now.
Oh my.
So I hope I hope I still have it.
You better have it. Yeah, I mean, that's the end of the video. Patrick hopped off. So
Patrick did.
see you soon, everyone. Bye.
Bye.